Today, we're talking about a true racing legend, a mechanical genius who completely dominated the track, outthinking and out-engineering everyone to become a four-time champion. But chances are you've never even heard his name. Why? Because he was banned from competing in history's most famous race. Just listen to this. This is from a newspaper covering his championship win back in 1926. It really says it all. This wasn't just about being the fastest. It was about being the smartest. His strategy was so good, his car so perfectly tuned, that he didn't even need a single pit stop. And that's the big question, isn't it? Why was a driver and an engineer of this caliber, a real pioneer of the sport, totally shut out from the biggest stage? Well, to figure that out, we have to go all the way back to the beginning.
Our story starts in Evansville, Indiana, where a young boy's tough childhood set him on a really unlikely path to becoming great.
You know, it was really hardship that gave him his first shot. After his mother died, Charlie Wiggins had to work, so he started shining shoes and he set up his kit right outside a car repair shop. And while he was waiting for customers, he wasn't just killing time. He was listening. He was learning the sounds of the engines. So when World War I came and pulled other mechanics away, he finally got his chance and quickly became the chief mechanic before moving to Indianapolis, the absolute heart of American auto racing. And this is what made him different. People called it the ear. It was this almost supernatural talent for just hearing an engine and knowing exactly what was wrong with it. It wasn't magic, of course. It was this incredible mechanical intuition, and it made him the guy everyone wanted working on their car in that city.
With skills like that, you'd think the Indy 500 would be the next step. He even built his own car from the ground up, calling it the Wiggins Special. But the American Automobile Association wouldn't let him in because he was black. Now, his response to being shut out wasn't to give up. Nope. It was to build a whole new door.
And that rejection? It actually sparked the creation of an entirely new racing circuit, one where Charlie Wiggins would become a king. So you ended up with these two completely separate worlds of racing. Over here, you had the Indy 500 with its famous brickyard and big money factory teams. And over here, you had the Golden Glory sweepstakes, created for the black American drivers who were shut out. They were racing on a 1-mile dirt track in cars they literally built themselves from junkyard parts. It was all about pure grit and ingenuity. And here it is, the legendary Wiggins Special. If you look closely at the side, he painted a little caricature of Felix the cat, who was a really popular cartoon character back then. The other drivers even nicknamed his car the Black Cat. It's just a perfect symbol of his whole spirit, deadly serious engineering, but with a little touch of personality. So how did he absolutely dominate? Well, his formula was pure genius. He just let the other drivers burn themselves out early, while he kept a nice, steady pace. But his secret weapon was under the hood. He had engineered his engine to run on this super efficient mix of airplane fuel and castor oil. And the result? He didn't need to make pit stops. So while all his rivals were pulling over to refuel, he would just cruise right on by. And here's the payoff. In 1926, he won the Golden Glory sweepstakes by 2 full laps. You can see him here, celebrating with his wife, Roberta. It was a massive win, not just for his driving skill, but for his incredible mind as an engineer. His reputation grew so big that in 1934, a white Indy 500 driver named Bill Cummings secretly hired Wiggins to join his team. But to get him past the race officials, they had to pretend he was the team's janitor. So Wiggins worked on the car, Cummings won the entire race, and Charlie had to watch the celebration from the segregated section of the grandstand.
Wiggins was at the absolute peak of his game, a 4-time champion known everywhere as the Speed King. But at the 1936 Golden Glory race, his career and really his entire life was about to change forever.
In that 1936 race, it all came down to a single, unlucky number, 13. On just the second lap of the race, another driver lost control, and it sparked this massive, chaotic 13-car pileup on that dangerous dirt track, and Charlie Wiggins was caught right in the thick of it. The aftermath was just devastating. His injuries were so bad, doctors had to amputate his right leg, and he lost the sight in his right eye. In an instant, his racing career was over. And without its biggest star, the whole Golden Glory sweepstakes just folded. The medical bills completely wiped him out financially, leaving him in constant pain for the rest of his life. But the crash that took his career, it couldn't take his spirit, and what he did next might be the most incredible parts of his entire story. I mean, this is just unbelievable resilience. In constant pain, with hardly any money, Charlie Wiggins actually built his own prosthetic leg out of wood. And he went right back to work in his garage. He just flat out refused to be defeated. That crash really was a turning point. On the left, you see the young champion he was, and on the right, you see the elder statesman he became. For the next 40 years, he poured his life into mentoring young drivers and mechanics, and he never stopped fighting for the inclusion of Black Americans in motorsports. When he passed away in 1979, his family couldn't even afford a headstone for him. For 24 years, he was in an unmarked grave. But finally, in 2003, his legacy started to get the recognition it deserved with a proper memorial. And today, he has rightfully been inducted into the Automotive Hall of Fame. This was a man who, when faced with a locked door, just decided to build a whole new building. He built his own car, he helped build his own racing league, and he forged this unbreakable legend through nothing but sheer talent and will. So we end on this thought. Charlie Wiggins' story is, without a doubt, an inspiring story of perseverance. But it also forces us to ask a much bigger question. His genius managed to find a way through, but how many others didn't? How much progress have we lost? How many incredible innovations were never even realized, all because brilliant minds were simply told, sorry, you're not allowed to compete?